we say, it's amazing. Peter was walking on water. Remember that? He walked in a water in a moment of mountaintop faith, or was it water, whatever, sea faith. And he was walking. He was moving in the power of his source. And then all of a sudden, he looked down. I said, a water me I walk on, and immediately began to sink when fear stepped in. This is a mini-series. Problem with that, we don't have time to go into details. But I can assure you that because fear had torment, it's very important to understand that we must not hug it up. So I'm afraid of something, lack of knowledge, get knowledge. I'm afraid of being rejected. Well, in my case, I justified my being afraid of asking the girl for the dance because I know that if I wanted to get any one of those girls to dance with me, if I can turn back plain, you think I couldn't get girls to dance with me? Of course I could. But then there's another factor, you see. I believe that I am responsible for the choices that I make. And I believe that the power that God has given me cannot be abused. And so, like the amazing Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, sorry. Thank you. I'm not afraid. I'm not as afraid with the Hulk as some of us are. The Incredible Hulk. I can't pretend to get vexed, You have to really get me vexed. I can't fake it. You got to really get me in that position. Then, trust me, the shirt is going to start to bulge. So I realized that none of the women there belonged to me. I had no right to any of them, so I could not use the power. And that's why I ended up not getting any dances. And that was fine for me. Because I have a responsibility to use whatever God has given to me responsibly. So that was my justification, but the principle still applies. I was afraid. Of course, when the girls saw me, naturally, they smelt the fear. They saw the fear. And I was never handsome in the first place. So why would they be attracted? I felt the fear. In closing, I tell you a story. All my stories are true, so I don't have to say a true story. At the age of 14, my head was as big then as it is now. It's probably beginning to shrink now, probably. My body was probably half the size. So just picture a huge head. A good friend of ours used to call me God Sticks instead of Godfrey. And I used to stutter. You know what stutter is? No exaggeration. And there was a particular girl that I liked. Her name was Joy. Now, I hadn't written this book yet, okay? As a matter of fact, that story is in the book. But I remember deciding that all the boys in the class, especially one named Haywood, face boy, handsome guy, gold chain, father have money, wasn't bright in class, but who cares? And all the girls were just fawning over this guy. And I figured, boy, it's time that some girl fawn over me too. And so I decided I'm going to make my move. I decided I like Joy. Like Joy a long time. But afraid to approach Joy. And of course, I knew I stuttered. And under normal conditions, I stuttered. Much as under stress. But I decided I couldn't take it any longer. I was a normal person. I was doing well in school. I was bright. Why can't I have the joy of my life? And so I decided to make my move. So we ride bicycles, or used to ride bicycles in those days. Guyana is flat, at least Georgetown is flat. I went to the top boys' school. She went to the top girls' school. The top boys' school was Queen's College. The top girls' school was Bishop's High School. And as fate would have it, Queen's College was to the right, Bishop's was to the left, And in the middle of Queens College and Bishop's High School was a street. What do you think the street name? Middle Street. And so the boys would get on their bicycles and race down to Middle Street. Well, the girls are ladies, huh? So they can't afford to be racing down, but they was racing to get to Middle Street. And then Queens College boy and Bishop's girl pair off and go home to get lunch and Godfrey McAllister. Me one. Anytime you see me with somebody, it's a boy. Something wrong. So I decided that today I'm going to talk to Joy. Yeah, man, Joy, my time now. So, man, I ride up behind Joy, man, and I saw her coming, and of course I, strategically slowed down, until she passed. And I just strategically rode behind her. But Joy's with her friends. About 4 of them, riding. Your girls like to ride in groups, And so I went, and when I got close enough, I rang my bell a little bit, and she looked back, and I said, Jojo. And all I hear is Joy say, go where big head stammering Mac. And I obeyed. I rode as fast as I could ride. By the way, I was a cycle racing champion, actually. I rode as fast as I could ride. I broke all the records, I'm sure. When I got to my house, I used the front wheel of the bicycle. I threw the gate open, rode down to the back, threw the bicycle down, ran upstairs. I lived in a 3-story house, ran up the second flight of stairs, opened the door, opened my bedroom door, threw myself across the bed and cried and cried and cried. I don't know how long after, but it seemed like an eternity after, I awoke. But when I awoke, this is a 3-story house. When I awoke, somebody else was in the room. Truth, they say, is stranger than fiction. Who do you think was in the room?